Hi, this is Josh Beatler with TauntonGuitarLessons.com, and in this video we're going to be going over... Hi, this is Josh Beatler with TauntonGuitarLessons.com in this video series, video number 4, in how to become a better guitar player today. Now, this video we're going to be tackling a major challenge that a lot of early beginner and intermediate students face, which is how to master chord switches. There are a couple things that are not commonly known and not commonly taught by most teachers that will massively make your chord switches a lot easier and the stretches. Now, this doesn't mean it will help you remember the chords. You have to put in the work to remember the chords by actually doing them over and over again. But doing this process will help you get your hand to do what it needs to do for the left hand. This will also not 100% guarantee that when you strum the chord that every single note will ring, though it will make it a lot easier. It just doesn't guarantee it every single time because each player's hands are different, each guitar is different. You know, some guitars have strings that are like a mile off the neck and they're impossible to play. So again, this is just the best practice to do it, but it doesn't guarantee success. You still need to practice. But that being said, this will be a lot faster. So here we go. If you remember video number 1, I talked about always holding the guitar so that it's parallel or, if nothing else, also vertical, a little bit away from you. It's actually best to do that. So I strongly recommend, if you have an electric guitar, again, throw this on the left leg. If you have an acoustic guitar, put it on a strap so that it can kind of rest in between your left leg, but so that it's pointing up and away from you. This will make it easier. This doesn't give you license to tilt the guitar so you can stare at it, because when you do that, your wrist has to work overtime to get to where it needs to go. So the guitar needs to be up against you. You need to be upright, okay? I know you want to look at your fingers, and you can by getting a mirror. You don't have to look at your hands to look at your hands. You look at the mirror to look at your hands. And I know it's kind of awkward. Listen, just do the stuff. It's faster, it's easier. Do it right the first time. I'm telling you tips and tricks that have worked for me and for a bunch of my students. They don't work if you don't use them. Okay, so step number 1, make sure that your thumb is always behind the neck. It's down here, it's not up here. Doesn't matter if your friend does it. If you're just learning and you want to learn the right way, get the thumb down here and the wrist relaxed. Number 2, make sure that the thumb is in line with about the 2nd fret, because that's about where your middle finger is always going to be. And if you remember video number 1, I said make sure that your thumb stays in line with your middle finger. Now, I'm going to pick a chord that you may or may not know, but the point is the process. The chord is not the most important part. It's the process that you need to get. Okay, so I'm going to pick a C chord, which looks like this. It's an open high E string, index finger goes on the 1st fret on the B string, open 3rd string, middle finger goes on the 2nd fret D string, and ring finger goes on the 3rd fret A string, and you don't hit the low E string. So, this is a commonly used chord, and it's also a pain in the butt if you've ever tried to play it to get it to sound nice. But if you keep the thumb in line with the with the 2nd fret, and you keep the wrist down, your fingers will be able to stretch a lot easier. Now here's the challenge. Most people go like this. They put their index finger down and they press. And then they put their ring finger down and then they press. And then they put the ring finger down and they press. And their hand feels like it's about to explode because they've been squeezing the hell out of the guitar. That's not how you do it. What you do is you put the index finger where it needs to go, and then you just leave it there. You don't press anything. You just leave it in the right spot. Then you put the middle finger, it needs to go, and you just leave it there. And you don't press anything. Then you put the ring finger where it needs to go, and you just leave it there, and you don't press anything. Until all 3 fingers are in their spot, or all 4 fingers are in their spot, or 2 fingers, depends on the chord. Now that my thumb is relaxed, my wrist is down, and I'm on my fingertips on the correct spot on the strings, now I press all of them at the same time. Now I relax all of them. Now I don't relax by going like that with my left hand, because this is not relaxed. This is tense. You relax by just stop pressing. Your fingers should still be in contact with the strings, but you're just not pressing them down. That's when you know you've relaxed successfully. Okay? So 1 finger at a time, press them all at the same time. And then if you're on your fingertips and you got the wrist relaxed and everything, then when you strum, you might find that this chord will sound clearer. You might find it. But even if it doesn't sound better, this hand will have gotten to that chord a lot easier than what you're used to, okay? And now we're going to the next chord, which is the G chord. Pinky on the 3rd fret, high E string, ring finger on the 3rd fret, and then middle finger goes all the way to the low E string. Okay, so now it's the same process for this chord. But the tricky part is when I go to switch back to the C chord. When you switch chords, you have to do that whole process instantaneously. So I press all my fingers. I relax all of them. I move them to their spots without pressing. And then when they're all there, I press them all down at the same time. And then I relax them all. I move them. I get them all in the right spot. And then I press them all at the same time, and then I strum. If you're pressing one finger at a time, you are building up tension in your hand, which is going to cause injury. It's going to make it a lot harder. You'll find that your fingers don't switch to the frets easily, and it's a big pain in the butt. We don't want that. You want it to be easy. So, you relax, you move, you set up all the fingers, you press them all, etc. If there is a song that you've been working on that you find the chord switch is particularly challenging, this is a great way to overcome those challenges, because you're likely not installing these habits into your hand. And that's all it is. This is installation. I'm installing natural talent. You don't need natural talent. I'm giving it to you. But you still have to work on natural talent. You still have to train it. All right, so that right there is the secret to chord switches. Drop the wrist, thumb in line with the middle finger, press only, put one finger down at a time on the chord, and then press only when all the fingers show up. And then when you release the chord, just stop pressing down so that the fingers maintain contact with the strings, and then you repeat the process with the new chord. Do that. It will make it so much easier for you, okay? All those chord switching challenges will be gone much, much faster than if you just continue doing what you're doing, which is likely the incorrect way to practice it. Okay, this is Josh Beatler with Taunton Guitar Lessons. This was video number 4 of how to become a better guitar player today. In the next video, I'm going to show you a really cool and simple right hand trick that you can do to start training the right hand on how to find the strings more easily without looking at them. And that will wrap up our series. If you haven't already, go to TauntonGuitarLessons.com, fill out the form for the free intro guitar lesson. I promise I will help you become a better guitar player in a half hour or less. It will absolutely be worth your free time. Just go to TauntonGuitarLessons.com, click the link for the free intro lesson, fill out the form, and I'll be in contact with you very soon. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. This is Josh. Practice. Rock on.